Hello and welcome to Supplement Saturday. I'm your host, Dr. Richard Harris, and today we're going to be talking about two more workout supplements, and we're actually going to close out this workout supplement series for now and move on to some of the components of routine. Routine is a personalized supplement I sit on the clinical advisory board of. Really excited about what they're doing. Really cool stuff. We'll talk about that more next week, but right now we're going to dive into some of the most important workout supplements that I take. It's actually my two favorite workout supplements. I don't know if you can see, but I'm actually repping one of them right now, ketones. You know, how I got started in this health and wellness journey was through ketosis. And one of my favorite workout supplements is exogenous or drinkable ketones. So ketones are the fourth macronutrient. If you haven't checked out our podcast about ketosis, check it out. There's a lot more information in there. But briefly, you can generate more units of energy than any other form of macronutrient. So macros are proteins, carbs, fats. Ketones are the fourth one. Now, the benefits of ketones for exercise is it's muscle sparing. It's actually interesting. They've done research where they had people ingest ketones and they looked at levels of branched chain amino acids, which are very high in the muscles. And there was actually higher amounts in the blood work when people didn't take the ketones, meaning that they were breaking down muscle for energy. And the ketones actually prevented that. So we know that ketosis is a very muscle sparing state. So that's great if you're doing very intense or endurance exercise. It actually has been shown to increase protein synthesis. Well, you want that if you're exercising. You want to build muscle. That's the name of the game. Building muscle and having adequate muscle mass is the most important thing for longevity, in my opinion. You know, you can maintain your muscle mass till the day you die if you use it. So ketones are a great muscle sparing agent. I've proven this. A lot of people have proven this. The literature proves it. I've done a long fast, done DEXA scans before and after, and lost zero muscle mass because of ketones. So for as far as the data on performance, it's mainly with endurance athletes. There's about 2 to 7% increased performance with endurance athletes, lower lactic acid levels, and that's important because buildup of lactic acid and that change to a more acidic pH is one of the signals for fatigue and failure. Studies also show that the body will use the ketones before glycogen, so there's less fatigue. So you'll use the ketones for energy, burn those, and then you'll go to your muscle glycogen stores. What does this mean for a lifter? It means you can go longer, harder, faster. And that's important, right? Because we're trying to get the most out of our workouts. I'm a very high intensity type person for workouts. So I like my workouts short and intense because that fits my very busy schedule. And then actually it helps accelerate glycogen resynthesis. So when people first started worrying about ketones and exercise, they were worried that, okay, you deplete your muscle glycogen, but without carbs, you wouldn't replenish it. And then your next workout would suffer and then you progressively get worse workouts. But no, this actually helps improve glycogen resynthesis, probably because ketones help with insulin sensitivity. You know, we have a whole podcast on insulin resistance. That's the underlying mechanism of diabetes. Go check out that podcast if you want to know more about insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance. Animal studies show it actually helps with oxygen utilization. So we use oxygen to help break down the foods we eat into energy. And sometimes that process is a little sloppy, especially if you're eating a lot of processed foods with very high carbohydrate intake. And you can generate more ROS or reactive oxygen species. These guys are bad. They pull electrons from other proteins and other structures and damages them. So you generate less of those and you generate more ATP, which is what makes us energy. So literally you're making the whole energy generation process more efficient. That's the take home point. There's some evidence that says that it may be up to 40% more efficient at generating energy in the brain. That's why a lot of people are using ketone therapy for brain disorders like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And if you look below in the comments, we'll drop a link on the ketone product that we are currently using for our workouts. Now, the next thing is caffeine, everybody's favorite. It's in all the pre-workouts. You know, I think it's something like 90% of Americans intake caffeine daily. And for good reason. Caffeine is safe and it's efficacious. And those are two of the things that we love in holistic medicine. Is it safe? Does it work? So a single dose of caffeine has been shown to improve exercise performance. And by performance, I mean strength and endurance. And one study, up to 7% of a boost to endurance was shown with caffeine. Another study showed that people were able to have a higher bench press with caffeine than without. Caffeine peaks within 90 to 100 minutes in the blood after ingestion. So you want to take your caffeine 30 to 60 minutes before you work out, and then it'll stay up for 3 to 4 hours. So caffeine has been shown to reduce tiredness. It helps increase adrenaline, which is what you want when you're working out. You know, that can be bad when you're not working out unless you're running from a tiger. But during workouts, we want that increase in adrenaline because we want the change in heart rate, the change in blood flow, the change in fat burning. Caffeine also increases fat burning, so that fat can be burned from your fat stores while you're exercising. That's a bonus. That increases exercise performance and decreases exercise fatigue. And, you know, one of the main reasons why a lot of people exercise is to maintain low body fat. It increases the generation of endorphins, and that's what helps with that post-workout feeling of satisfaction and happiness. And who doesn't want more endorphins? We all need more endorphins in our life. That's our body making us happy. And there's actually some evidence that shows that it helps with the motor part of the brain, what we call the motor cortex. That's the part of the brain that deals with movement, and it helps with some potentiation effects there. So it may make us more efficient at doing certain maneuvers. Caffeine helps with thermogenesis, meaning helps us make heat, which also helps us burn calories. And caffeine may help with muscle glycogen stores. So what's the dosage? You want to start slow and go slow. So start around 100 milligrams. Some of these pre-workout products have up to 400 milligrams. Wouldn't recommend 400 milligrams of caffeine if you're very caffeine sensitive or if you have a lot of stress, which can lead to something we call HPA axis dysfunction. I need to do a whole podcast on HPA axis dysfunction because that's a pretty complicated process, but that's basically the body is so stressed out that some of the hormone systems get burnt out. Side effects of caffeine, we all know this because we've all probably overdosed on caffeine. Fast heart rate, anxiety, insomnia, tremor, stomach upset. So if you're working out in the evening, because I usually tell people to limit caffeine or don't get any caffeine after about 3 or 4 p.m. because after that time, it'll interrupt your sleep-wake cycles. It'll interrupt your body going into its natural wind-down cycle. So if you're working out in the evening, you'll take that lower dose of caffeine probably at like 3 o'clock. If you can get in the gym before 7, you're still probably going to have some of that caffeine in your body. So that's my recommendations there. Caffeine, BHB. We're closing out the workout supplement series. Next week, we're going to start up with some of the supplements that are in Routine, which is my new favorite supplement company because they're doing what I used to do for my private clients, which is genetic testing and nutrient and metabolite testing. Metabolite testing is where you just don't look at, let's say, a B vitamin level. You look at what is B vitamin doing and how the levels of what is impacted by B vitamins are. Because you can have a normal B vitamin level, but then you look at everything that is necessary for to be made from a B vitamin, and those levels are low, indicating you have a deficiency. And so that's metabolite testing. Really excited to talk to you guys about that. And I've gone way over 5 minutes, but I guess that's appropriate since this is the last one in the series for now. Thank you for listening to Supplement Saturday. Again, I'm your host, Dr. Richard Harris. Links below for the ketones, and we'll see you next week.